Norwegian black metal happened in Norway because Norwegian black metal had to happen in Norway, but I think the ideas were connected with the woods and a continuation to the Norwegian mythology.
What happened in the early 90s is Norway doesn't really have any history when it comes to that. Norway has a few very big writers from the previous century, or now there would be second previous century. We've never made it big on the commercial pop or rock scene, but we've discovered that we can do special things. I wanted to get across the musical focus. Also, I wanted to get across that for us, it is not important to deny that there's been some controversial happenings in the scene. Not at all, but to explain both the relative small size, in comparison with how big the scene is, and also, how independent the scene is from these, controversial episodes.
We're too old to fucking call.
We actually did make the first real full-length album of black metal in a kind of way, and we did it with great success. And that was before all this arsons thing you talked about. So I don't think we benefited in regard all that thing. But of course, when things like this happen, it's like huge things happen in a small country like Norway. Of course, it attracts a lot of people that don't necessarily have a relation with metal and rock and roll.
I think it's very much alive, but it's at the end of a cycle. I think you start out with something that's very genuine and close-knit, like it was in the early 90s. And now it's becoming more commercial, like we talked about today with the band going in the Eurovision contest. And then you would create a reaction. Some bands will be very anti. And then I think we're going to find ourselves in 4 or 5 years back to the starting point. And, black metal's going to be part of every other cycle that's going on in the music life.
Black metal as such, what we thought was black metal in the 80s is of course gone. It's long gone. But I think music is music. However, and people just have to. I mean, it all actually boils down to a very primitive thing, and that is, you listen to an album, you like it or not, and that's the end of it, really.